What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the TheVaultProScooters. My name is Austin, and today we are here for another episode of What's New in Scootering. To be honest with you, I cannot believe it's this time of the year already. October flew by. We're already here. November 1st. If you guys don't know, November 1st is when no other than Envy Scooters drops their whole new line of Colts, Prodigies, and KOSs, which means it's time to cover the all-new version of the Envy Prodigy. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm sure you guys know, the Envy Prodigy is hands down the best-selling scooter worldwide. It's the most popular scooter. If you guys go to a skate park by your house, you're pretty much bound to see somebody riding it. I'm sure you've heard that said before because honestly, it's true. It is hands down the most popular scooter, and there's a reason for it. Not only is it so affordable, but it continues to evolve and evolve into a better scooter every year with higher quality parts and more unique colorways than any other brand out there. So this video is probably pretty expected and anticipated, and I'm very excited to cover it. So without further ado, let's get into Envy's all new line. We're gonna be starting this off by looking at the Envy S9 Colt. Alrighty, so what is there to say about the Envy Colt? Well, the Colt is Envy's middle tier scooter. It's their beginner to intermediate level complete that has a ton of bells and whistles and a ton of high quality parts that honestly, compared to a lot of other companies' highest level completes, before the Envy 1 came out, the Colt was the entry level scooter, but now with the Envy 1 out, it is the middle tier, and this thing got updated with a ton of cool things, so I'm excited to go over it. But before that, let's go over just some general specs of the Envy Colt. So the deck on this complete comes 4.75 inches wide by 19.5 inches long. The bars are 22.8 inches wide by 26.8 inches tall. It's riding a IHC compression fork. It has 110 millimeter wheels. It can fit up to 120 millimeter wheels. And all around, it's just a great complete. Everything else from the last model of the Colt is the same, but those are the general specs. If you guys want to know more about this complete, you can click the link down below to our website. There's a breakdown of all the specs. However, let's talk about what's new on this complete compared to last year. So if you're looking at it, immediately you're gonna recognize the bar. I believe this bar was from the Envy S9 Prodigy. This complete is starting to resemble the S9 Prodigy more and more, which is really cool to see how their lineup is evolving. But this is just a standard 4130 chromoly steel bar with gussets to ensure that your bar is not gonna bend. It's gonna ensure that the bar is a little bit stronger. And to be honest with you, it looks great. I already mentioned that it comes 22.8 inches wide by 26.8 inches tall. The redesigned Colt logo here on the front, the rainbow. The grips are also new. This is a new colorway that we've never seen from Envy before. We've seen different color swirled grips. However, we've never seen them combine those colors with clear. So the red colorway of the Colt comes with the red and clear Envy TPR swirl grips, and I have to say they look pretty sweet. I think the clear just adds for a lot more of a unique look, and definitely is gonna help you stand out, and that's what these scooters are pretty much made to do. Moving down to the clamp, this is just your basic Envy 2-bolt clamp, nothing crazy. This guy isn't forged or anything like that. It's pretty much the bare bones double clamp. The deck is integrated, so you just have your standard Envy integrated headset, no logos on the dust cover, anything like that. Moving down to the fork, this is another part that was updated for 2022. This is the Envy Prodigy fork on the Envy Colt. So last year, all the Envys came with the Envy Prodigy fork. It was a brand new fork. This year, the Colt is actually coming out of the box with an Envy Prodigy fork. You guys can pick up one of these forks on our website for like 80 bucks, but the Envy Colt comes with it stock out of the box, which is pretty sweet. It is running IHC compression, so that's why the bars are standard. You guys can also pick up an Envy IHC to HIC conversion shim. What that does is it replaces the shim that's on the fork right now that only fits standard bars, and you update it with the thicker, bigger shims so you guys can ride HIC bars if you want to. This time around, Envy decided to throw Envy Diamond wheels on the S9 Colt. The Diamond wheels have been one of the most iconic and recognizable wheels from Envy since I can remember. And now they're not only updated with new urethane colors to match the grips, they come stock on the Envy Colt, which is crazy. Another aftermarket part that would run you like $60 to $80 for a set of these wheels stock on the Envy Colt. I'm telling you, this thing is a bang for the buck. So as you guys can see, these are the Envy Diamond wheels. They feature the really cool diamond core pattern. Spin great, come with ABEC 9 pre-installed bearings, so you guys are gonna be good to go there. Like I mentioned, this thing features a clear and red swirl urethane that matches the grips. Look at that, clear and red, clear and red. So moving on to the deck does feature an all new Colt cutout here on the head tube. So you guys will be able to recognize what scooter you're riding immediately because it's got the Colt logo cut out on the head tube. Look at that. You guys can slap stickers or anything that you want on your fork and you guys will see them through the Colt logo, which is pretty cool. Another way just to customize your scooter a little bit more. Taking a look on the side of the deck, this is where it features some more Colt logos. You have their little character that Envy has created on all the boxes for the Envy Colts and stuff like that. This is like the Colt character, if you guys will. It's a pretty cool little animated guy. And you have him going all the way down the side of the deck here. And of course, he's fading from yellow to blue, just like a rainbow to match the logo on the front of the bar. On top of the deck, pre-installed black grip tape. You have the Colt logo cut out here on the top, just like all the other completes. When it comes to the brake, the Envy Colt is just rocking the classic Envy nylon brake. Nothing too crazy, honestly, but no surprises here. This brake has honestly just been on all their completes for the last few years. Of course, if you guys want, you can swap this out for an Envy wheel guard. If you guys aren't a fan of riding a brake and you want to just throw a fender on there, an Envy wheel guard will work out perfectly. Same brake bolt, it's pretty much made for these decks. While we're talking about the back end of the deck, this is where things get cool as well. If you guys don't know, Envy actually makes aftermarket squared ends for their decks. So right now, as you guys can see, the deck just features these nylon inserts that pretty much prevent the deck from caving in when you do feeble grinds and you start wearing in the bottom of the deck. But if you guys do not want to ride the cutout ends and you want to ride squared ends, so it'll pretty much square the back end of the deck so you guys have more surface to grind on, you guys can actually purchase them aftermarket. Little pieces, you pull these out, you slide them in, and all Envy decks are pretty much made to ride those deck ends if you like them. If you guys are interested in those, they will be linked down below. They're just Envy squared deck ends. They're like 20 bucks, and honestly, if you guys are doing a lot of grinds, you should definitely be checking them out. So taking a look at the bottom of the Envy Colt, you got a lot going on here, I'm not gonna cap. You got the bold Colt logo here, once again letting you know what complete you have, and this is where the graphic gets crazy. The graphic that is on the side of the deck carries on over to the bottom. Once again, it's this little character that Envy has created, just scattered all over the deck, fading from every color in the rainbow downwards, really making a unique piece of art on the bottom of this deck. And I'm a big fan of it. So those are pretty much all the specs of the Envy Colt. If you guys want to learn more, like I said, hit that link down below. Check it out on our website. There's a lot more information there about this guy. I am currently holding the red colorway of the Envy Colt S5. I think it's time we take a look at the rest. All right, next up is green. So you have the super vibrant neon green, green and clear swirl wheels. And of course, you have the clear and green grips to match. So that's green. Next up is teal. Teal deck, teal and clear wheels, and of course, teal and clear grips. To be honest, this is my favorite color of the four. Alrighty, so the last and final colorway of the Envy Colt S5 is going to be this black. Obviously, I needed to make a more neutral color just because all the other colorways are so loud and so predominant in color that this guy's a little bit more toned down and a little bit easier for you guys to add your own color to the complete later down the road. The black colorway features the black bar, black clamp, black deck, black wheels. However, they did throw a little bit of white in the grips, so the TPR grips on the Colt S5 are black and white. It's the swirl urethane as well, the TPR grip, and they also feature the black and white swirl wheels. These are my favorite colorway of the wheels so far. The teal is my favorite colorway of the complete, but the black and white wheels are honestly my favorite. They remind me of like an Oreo milkshake. If y'all don't F with cookies and cream, I don't know what y'all doing. Same graphic on all the completes. This one I think stands out just a little bit more. The rainbow graphic on the black deck, it's like a blank canvas and it looks really, really sweet. So that's pretty much it for the Envy Colt S5. All the colorways, all the specs, everything you guys need to know before you buy, and at least you guys are now up to date on what's new when it comes to this guy. And since I know a lot of you guys are asking, the Envy Colt S5 weighs 8 pounds, 3.7 ounces. The last thing I want to note about the Envy Colt S5 is the price. This guy comes in at $179.95, so it is a little bit cheaper than the Envy Prodigy, but still up to par with 99% of the other completes out there. So if you guys want to pick one up for yourself, just click that link down below. So now it's time to move on to the Envy S9 Prodigy Street Complete, and who better to break down those completes than my good friend, Walter Perez.
What's up guys, I'm Walter. I'm here to talk about the new Envy S9 Prodigy Street Editions. I actually have one right here, already all built up. So I went ahead and grabbed the white one so I can go through the size, everything for you guys. I grabbed the white and black one because it's like my favorite one out of all three. You'll see the other two in a second, but for now, let's talk about this one. So I'm gonna start off at the top, kind of like it's a scooter check. It has the Envy swirl grips. These are gonna be black and white with the Envy nylon bar ends. It has the typical T-bar. It's gonna be 25.6 tall, by 22 wide. 22 wide is like the industry standard for like the street riders for the most part. I mean, that's what I ride. That's what a few of my friends ride. Beautiful bar. It's made out of 4130 chromoly. We're gonna go to move down to the standard Prodigy double clamp. This thing's beautiful. These bars are standard, so this clamp only fits standard, but they do sell it for both. And you have the basic Envy headset in black. Really nice. Makes your boss spin nice. So moving down to the fork, this is actually a new fork. This is like my first time looking at it up close. This is the brand new Envy Diamond fork. This fork fits 120 millimeter wheels by actually, you can fit all wheel sizes, I believe, with some spacers on here because it has the spacing for it. This fork's actually really sick. It's very clean, reminds me of the SOB V3, but just updated. You have the typical Envy gap wheels. They're gonna be 120 by 24 millimeters. So moving down to the deck's gonna be 20.5 long and 4.9 wide. And if you're wondering how much foot space from here to here, you have 15.1. That's a lot of room, you know, to move your little feetsies around. What's really cool about these is in the back, they have these nylon inserts that make it square. The brake, standard brake, Envy nylon brake, fits 120. Clearly, there's 120s on here. Scooter's not heavy either. How much does it weigh? Let's find out. All right, so I went ahead and grabbed a scale, got the scooter all balanced on here. So this scooter weighs 8 pounds, 13 ounces, which actually is not that heavy. It's actually pretty light. If you wanna do like the crazy bri flips and stuff like that, you ain't gonna have too much of a hard time. But it is a street scooter, so you know, cuff your pants, do some back flips, you're chilling. Let's go ahead and grab the other two colors so I can go ahead and show you. Alrighty, so for color number 2, this one is gonna be gray and green, so it has the clear grips at the top, moving all the way down to the deck. It has like this kind of like weird color, so it's like a gray, but it's a green. It's pretty sick. Urethane's gonna be clear on the wheels. I'm glad that a lot of companies are starting to do clear urethane. Reminds me of like the OG days from like 2008. Urethane is gonna be at an 86A compound, and the fork is IHC. Forgot that as well. All right, moving on to the final color. Another thing I forgot to mention is the deck has a really cool cutout on the bottom. Then this is Prodigy inside. This thing's sick. Boom, final color. This one is gonna be a black and teal. So the urethane is gonna be teal, black core. The grips are gonna be the same thing as the ones before, just the black and teal grips. Everything else on all these scooters is 100% the same, but the colors. So until then, I will see you guys next time, and back to Austin. I'm out.
All right, thanks Walter for covering those completes. Like I mentioned as well, if you guys are interested in any of those, click the link down below. You guys can learn more, and like I said, pick one up for yourself. Now that we've covered the Envy S9 Prodigy Street Complete, let's finally review the #1 selling, the most popular scooter in the world, the Envy S9 Prodigy. This is the Envy S9 Prodigy, the long-awaited, the highly anticipated. I've covered the last 3 of these, and they just keep getting better and better as the years go on. And to be honest with you, I kind of sit here and I question it. I just ask myself, what are they gonna do this year that's different from last year? And to be honest, not a lot has changed this year. The Envy Prodigy has made drastic changes every year. I mean, the S8 Prodigy was the first version of it that came with an aluminum bar, and that was huge. To not only get a complete for $200, but a complete for $200 that has an aluminum bar is insane. They introduced the Envy Reaper bar on the Envy S8 Prodigy, which is an aftermarket bar that you guys can buy for like $100. The fact that you guys are getting a whole scooter with it for $200 was pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. But general specs of the Envy S9 Prodigy are 4.75 wide deck by 19.5 inches long. The bar is 24.4 inches tall by 22 inches wide. The bar on the Envy S9 Prodigy is still the aftermarket Envy Reaper bar, the iconic Envy Reaper bar with the aluminum gussets here to reinforce it. Flavio Pezzenti's signature bar. It's pretty much the most recognizable bar that Envy has ever made. And to see it still alive here on the S9 Prodigy is awesome. Flavio is an absolute killer of a scooter rider and well deserved. As far as grips go, you're still rocking the Envy TPR mixed grips. The specific colorway features the teal and black ones, which are pretty cool, but pretty much across the board, all Envy completes are gonna feature these grips, which is no surprise. The S9 Prodigy is still rocking their Prodigy oversized clamps. This guy has all these cutouts here to reduce weight and also make it just look a little bit cooler. The Prodigy does come with 6mm clamp bolts, which is awesome. So you guys have a little bit less of a chance of stripping out your clamp bolts with this guy. The deck is the same Prodigy deck that we've seen before, especially on the last year model, but it has the redesigned head tube here with all the cutouts and everything just to give it that unique and Envy look. To be honest with you, this deck looks like an Envy deck if you ask me. All the cutouts here so you can see your fork through the head tube. It weighs like absolutely nothing and it just looks super cool. The biggest and most obvious change from the Envy S8 Prodigy to the Envy S9 Prodigy is the fork. So since they introduced the Prodigy fork on the Colts this year, they had to redesign and introduce a new fork for the Prodigy, and that fork is the Envy Diamond Fork. Envy Diamond Fork is Envy's newest aftermarket fork, which yes, you will be able to buy this fork on its own if you guys are interested. Features this new redesigned shape and look. It is the slimmest fork I believe Envy has ever made. It is the lightest fork Envy has ever made, and it is named the Diamond Fork because it features their diamond logo here on the center. Raymond Warner was riding this fork. He said he loved it, so if he loved it, you guys will love it, and it looks honestly great on the Prodigy. As far as anything else goes, that is the biggest change that you guys are going to see on this complete. Moving on to wheels, the Envy Prodigy does feature the same Envy Gap Core wheels as last year. Glossy urethane with this really cool glitter urethane matching the Gap Core design that is pretty unique. There's not another wheel out there that looks like it, and if you guys want, you guys can pick these up on their own. Same core design as the Envy tri-bearing wheels, so if you guys are looking for a 30 mil option, check out the tri-bearing wheels. Prodigy features black grip tape here. However, you do have the Prodigy logo here on the top. This one is not a decal. It's like embedded into the deck. It's holographic, so if I turn the deck, you get all these different colors and stuff like that just to make it a little bit cooler. Just like all the other Envy completes, you have the Envy nylon brake here as well. Good thing to mention, the Envy gap cores on the S9 Prodigy are 120 millimeters by 24 millimeters. Just like the Colt, the Prodigy is compatible with their squared deck ends. So if you guys don't want to ride the normal dropouts, just like the Colt, you guys can swap these out for the squared deck ends, just like the Street Complete has. Walter just covered those. You guys can see that those have the squared deck ends. So if you want to match it, you guys can pick those up on their own as well. I highly recommend you guys do, especially if you guys are learning grinds. It's just going to make locking into any of those grinds that much easier, and any game that you guys can have is a huge advantage. If we quickly look at the bottom, this is where the deck really shines. You have this ginormous cutout here on the bottom of the deck, which is made to reduce weight and also just make it look a little bit cooler than a lot of the other ones out there. Obviously, reducing this much material is going to make the deck a lot lighter, and this scooter does not weigh a lot, so it's definitely working. You guys can see the Envy Prodigy logo here in the center with this really cool like diamond cutout pattern. That diamond shape is the same shape that is on the diamond fork, so that's how you guys can see that the shapes just kind of fade all the way around the deck. So that is pretty much it spec-wise for the Envy S9 Prodigy. Like I mentioned, not a ton has changed aside from the fork. I'm currently holding the swirl colorway. So obviously you guys can see it has all the different colors swirling around. If I turn the deck, you guys can see there's more of them there. It is a pretty unique colorway. The swirl colorway does feature the teal and black gap core wheels as well as the teal and black TPR grips, but I think it's time we take a look at the rest of the colorways. Alrighty, this right here is the oil slick colorway that features primarily all black parts except for the neochrome deck. You guys are a fan of neochrome, this is the one for you. A really cool attention to detail here is that the pattern that is going along the side of the deck in the neochrome is once again their diamond shape pattern, tying into the fork, tying into the other colorways. It's really cool that Envy's attention to detail is there. I mean, if you guys look for it, it's there. Take a look here at the bottom of the deck. You guys can see more of it. So that's neochrome and black. Next up is going to be the Hex colorway. This is an all new color from Envy. Features the teal head tube fading into black. It has a super cool Hex logo fading all the way down the deck and falling apart like a video game. In my mind, it looks really, really cool. Same sticker in the center. This one features black on black gap core wheels and black grips, just like the oil slick. However, the deck is very loud and stands out like a sore thumb, but honestly one of my favorite colorways from this new range for sure. Moving on, this is hands down my favorite colorway of the Envy S9 Prodigy, and this is Galaxy. As you guys can tell, it is probably the most out there colorway that they've done so far. They introduced this Galaxy colorway of wheels last year, so the tri-bearing wheels and the gap core wheels got these really cool Galaxy urethane colorways where they look like a galaxy, to be honest with you. There's like somewhat holographic, somewhat clear, very, very one of a kind and unique. And they decided to introduce a deck that complements it this time around, and this is it. So the deck is a combination of blue and purple and green, almost like a neochrome, but it features this glitter pattern and it ties into the wheels. If I move the deck around, you guys can see it a little bit more in the light. Pretty much at any angle that you guys turn it, it's gonna be a different color. which is pretty sweet. However, it's still a bit of a darker color since the base color of the deck is black. And it actually features a new color of the TPR grip that we haven't seen before, which is clear. Solid clear, not a mixed color. This is just solid clear, and I think it was definitely the move to put these guys on this color complete. Moving on to another neochrome colorway. This is actually black in neochrome. This one doesn't feature a full neochrome deck. It just ties a little bit of neochrome into some other bits and pieces, like the core of the wheels. So you have a white urethane on neochrome gap core wheel, which is very sweet. I love white wheels on primarily black scooters. You also have a neochrome Prodigy double clamp here, and you also have black and white TPR grips to complement the wheels. Everything else on the complete is primarily black. You still have the holographic Envy Prodigy sticker here on the top of the deck, and if we take a look at the bottom, same thing. This one doesn't feature any graphics, just right here in the center. Very clean, very elegant, and if you guys are shopping for something a little bit more simple, a little bit more pulled back, definitely take a look at this one. And here we are, the last colorway of the Envy S9 Prodigy, which is actually named after my ex-girlfriend. This color is Toxic. But this right here is the Toxic colorway, and if you guys think of what Toxic would look like as a colorway, I think Envy nailed it perfectly. It is very similar to the Galaxy or the Glitter colorway. However, instead of being purple and blue, it is green and yellow. And on paper, that might not sound like it would be too cool of a colorway, but having it here in front of me, it is definitely pretty sweet. And I think it stands out really well. I think it's unique. I don't think there's anything else in scootering that looks like it. So Envy definitely hit the nail on the head there. Pretty much just have the solid green and yellow deck. This one is also color changing. So if I rotate the scooter, you guys will see more green in some areas. You will see more yellow in others. Everything else on this guy is primarily black. So you have the black on black wheels and the rest of the parts are black. But I think it was definitely the move as well. Just keep all the color here on the deck and let the rest of the complete do its own thing. Moving on to the bottom, color obviously carries over to the full deck. And of course, you have your infamous holographic Envy logo here on the center of the deck. And before you guys roast me in the comments, the Envy S8 Prodigy weighs 7 pounds, 10.5 ounces. Alrighty, so that has been it for the Envy S9 Prodigy. Of course, with everything that has happened in the world in the last year, pricing has gone up a little bit. So the Envy S9 Prodigy is now $220 compared to the S8, which was only $200, 20 bucks more than it was before. But to be honest with you, it is well worth it. This complete could go for $300 or $400 since it pretty much has all aftermarket parts on it anyways. But just in case you guys were wondering, that is why the price is bumped up just a little bit. So that has been it for this episode of What's New in Scootering. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to let us know by hitting that like button, hitting subscribe if you guys haven't already, and turn on that bell so you guys are notified every single time we upload. If you guys are interested in picking up any of the all-new Envy completes that I showed you guys today, all the links for them will be down below. Make sure to check them out, and if you guys want to learn more, all that info will be on our website as well. Make sure you guys stay tuned for more videos coming up real soon, and until the next one, have a good one.